Hello, welcome back everybody. It's day 3 and I've heard from lots of your moms and dads that you're doing a wonderful job at home and some of you are watching these videos in the morning to get ready for your big day, a very different kind of school day, but you're doing some things to help mom and dad, and I heard all of you are reading books. Well, I woke up this morning and the first thing I did was go in to give Rose a kiss, and guess what I saw? Gold coins on her bed. I looked all around her room, but we did not find a leprechaun. So I came out to the dining room and saw our trap from yesterday, and you're never going to believe what happened. You ready? Here's our trap that we built yesterday. And we caught a leprechaun. A leprechaun that we had at our school. How did it get into my house? I don't know. He's made of paper. I tried to make a few wishes. Didn't listen very well, but I'm going to keep trying. If you caught a leprechaun at home, let me know what you're doing with that leprechaun. So I have a story for you today called The Pot of Gold, and then a silly poem, a poem about a pet that should not be let into a house. And finally, an activity. Rose and I are going to make something, just using what we have at home to make being at home a little more fun. And you're so smart, I know you can do the same thing at your house. So today's story is called The Pot of Gold. I'm going to play a little music while we're listening too. I'm using Pandora like we do in class, just to hear some nice music. This is Irish music. The story is The Pot of Gold. It was a big day for Lucky the leprechaun. Today he was going to get his very own pot of gold. If he passed the test, the leprechaun king said, "Now you know the rules, Lucky. You must find the 10 magic 4-leaf clovers hidden throughout the leprechaun land." His proud mom wished Lucky luck, and he was off. Where should he look first? Lucky didn't know, so he just started walking down the road toward the leprechaun village. He looked high and low, keeping his eyes wide open for magic 4-leaf clovers. Then, as Lucky went by the village, he spotted his first magic clover. 1 down, 9 to go. Maybe you can find them as I'm reading the story. You have to use your eyes to find the clovers. Just past the village, the road took Lucky into the great wood. It was hard to see in the black forest, but Lucky heard the birds singing, and it gave him an idea. "Excuse me, little bird," he called. "You have such a good view from the tree. Could you tell me if you see a 4-leaf clover?" Can the bird spot a magic clover? Can you? "Well," thought Lucky, "it's too bad I can't get a bird's eye view of all the leprechaun land. I'd find the other clovers in no time." Then that gave Lucky another idea. Maybe he could see the clovers from the top of Mount Erin. "It's worth a try," thought Lucky, but at the top of the mountain it was so misty Lucky couldn't see a thing, not even the magic 4-leaf clover growing right in front of him. Lucky decided to look in the cove next. All his leprechaun friends were swimming and splashing under the waterfall. Lucky wanted to dive in too, but he kept on his way. He wanted that pot of gold more than anything. Lucky ducked behind the waterfall so that he could cross the cove without getting wet, and there in Lucky's path was his reward for being such a hard worker. On the other side of the cove lay a sheep pasture where the woolly sheep stood grazing on clover. Yikes! There could be hundreds of magic clovers here, but how would Lucky ever find them? Do you see a magic clover? Lucky was running out of places to look, but then he spotted the castle of the leprechaun king. The king was just sneaky enough to hide magic clover inside his own house. Lucky pushed open the heavy front door and stepped inside. "Well," he said, "there'll be no problem finding 4-leaf clovers here." But could Lucky find a real one? Can you find the real magic clover in the Leprechaun King's castle? Lucky headed back toward the village, wondering where those last 4 clovers could be. He was thinking so hard that he tripped and oops, tumbled all the way down to the riverbank. As Lucky lay there for a second, staring up at the sky, he saw them. 2 4-leaf clovers growing on the underside of the mossy stone bridge. They didn't call him Lucky for nothing. Can you find both? Past the bridge and around the bend, Lucky came upon a wishing well. He searched all around the well, but found no clovers. Lucky was about to give up and move on when he decided to make a wish. After all, what are wishing wells for? Lucky leaned over the side of the well and wished that he would find his 9th magic clover right then and there. Did Lucky's wish come true? Lucky needed 1 more magic clover, but he had been here, there, and everywhere in Leprechaun Land, and he only had 9. Now he would never get his own pot of gold. Then as he walked into his own backyard, Lucky saw a familiar 4-leaf shape right in the middle of his garden. Could it be? Yes, it was the 10th magic clover. Lucky had done it. All the leprechauns in Leprechaun Land cheered, "Hooray for Lucky!" with a big smile. Lucky handed the 10 magic clovers to the Leprechaun King. Then he slid down the rainbow and landed in his very own pot of gold. The pot of gold he had earned all by himself. Maybe one day you'll be lucky enough to meet a leprechaun. And maybe, if you're really lucky, it will be Lucky himself. I wonder if this is Lucky over here. Oops. That's silly. I just dropped everything. That will be my first blooper of many I'll make while I'm making videos for you. Okay. Here is our daily poem. Yesterday, I decided I wanted to get a new kitten. I don't know where I got that in my mind, but they didn't have any kittens at the shop. So I just came home and played with our own cat, Aya. There are going to be some things that you want right now, some places you feel like going. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but pretty soon. And you're going to wonder, why can't I go where I want to go? Why can't I do what I want to do? This is a pretty hard time for all of us right now. So this poem made me think about how we want some things sometimes and how we do not understand why the answer is no. We just have to make do with our great big imaginations and our big hearts and our strong minds and do our very best job right now. So today's poem by Shel Silverstein is called Unfair. I had feelings that things were unfair today, and then I thought about you and how special you are, and it made me feel a lot better. Okay, here's the poem. Unfair. They don't allow pets in this apartment. That's not decent. That's not fair. They don't allow pets in this apartment. They don't listen. They don't care. I told them he's quiet and never does bark. I told them he'll do all this stuff in the park. I told them he's cuddly and friendly, and yet they won't allow pets. Look at that pet. You think that guy looks friendly? I'm not sure I would allow that pet in my house. That is a silly guy. Okay, our activity today is bowling. You know how we love playing bowling in class with math questions and such. So I have this bowling set that came from the Buddy Bench. And it's a really fancy set, right? It has all the things that are normal. Well, they're kind of silly ones, but you know, it's an actual toy bowling set. But we don't all have a bowling set at home. And so Rose and I came up with a clever idea to make our very own bowling challenge in my hallway, because I have a nice long hallway. And you could make your own set too and let Mrs. Barber know what it's like. So here we go. I'm going to show you our bowling challenge. So First, I have to ask Rose a question, just like we do in class. Here's our bowling set we made ourselves. It is 6 empty bottles. You can use more. Rose said it might be fun to use way more than 6 empty bottles. And we have a toy. It's Aya's pet toy. But you could use something like a can or any ball that you have, or even a stuffed animal. You can throw your stuffed animal down the hall and knock over some pins. So here's your question, Rose.
Huh?
Let me come up with a 6th grade question.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Is it going to be hard?
No, it won't be too hard. What is